Welcome to the very first MUSAE webinar introducing the second open call. Just a quick practical information. The session is being recorded in order to make all the information available, including PowerPoints and comments on the STARTs platform after the webinar ends. Just in case someone has something against it, just raise your hand or intervene in the next 10 seconds. In case I don't hear anything, we will continue with the registration. We are using Team, and I kindly ask you to mute your microphone so that in order to avoid echoes. This is the agenda for today's. I will briefly pass the word to Tatiana. Please remember that at the end there will be 10-15 minute space to gather the Q&A on the on specific question or doubts which might arise. And so I would suggest to keep all the question at the end of the intervention. So I see that no one is against the registration. I will leave now the word to Tatiana Efremenko from the Department of Design of Politecnico of Milano, who is coordinating the project MUSAE and will introduce the projects, its main objective, and especially the purpose and the expected activities and results of the project itself. Please, Tatiana, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this webinar, the very first webinar for the second open call. As Maria said, I'm part of the coordination team from Politecnico di Milano, and so I will briefly introduce you to the MUSAE project and the main objective of our project. Next slide, please. So the MUSAE project is supported by Horizon Europe through STARTs initiative, and the main goal of this initiative is to enhance the collaboration between artists, scientists, engineers, and researchers. And particularly the goal of MUSAE is to establish an innovative factory model to integrate artistic collaboration in digital innovation hubs through a design features art-driven methodology. So the main aim and the goal of the project is to create and establish the factory model and deliver it to the digital innovation hubs so they could in the future facilitate the collaboration between artists and companies independently. Next slide, please. And the main thematic area of our project is food as medicine. As we know, the chains of production, supply, consumption, and waste in our food systems have a huge impact on both people's and planetary well-being and health. And so the primary goal of MUSAE project is to rethink current food systems and practices. And also in the line of this bigger thematic area, our aim is to help companies with a strategic approach to help them to navigate in this exponential technologies landscape to anticipate the innovation, so innovative products and services for the future of food, but focusing on both human and planetary well-being. Next slide, please. And our consortium is led by different partners, as you can see, with different skills and expertise. So we have the experts in art and design. So from Polimi, we're specializing in design futures. Then we have a partner from University of Barcelona, who are the experts in art and education. Then we have the partner GLUON, which is the platform for art, science, and technology collaborations. Then we have expert in nutrition from University College of Dublin. And then we have, as you can see, several partners in technologies, and also we have two digital innovation hubs. So we have Abacus from Italy, specializing in wearables and sensors. We have PAL Robotics from Spain, specializing in robotics. Also from University of Barcelona, experts in artificial intelligence. From University of Belgrade in collaborative robotics and digital biomechanics. From University of Manchester in human-machine interaction and robotics, and finally MADE, who is the Digital Innovation Hub. So we have this mix of diverse expertise and skills in order to build the factory model that I mentioned. and to deliver it by the end of the project. Next slide, please. And so in the project, we're also developing and testing the method, which is called Design Futures Art-Driven Method, which will be one of the main components of the factory model. As you can see here, it merges the two sort of approaches, Design Futures method with art thinking. And the whole idea of this method that we are testing and improving, refining now, is to support and train artists and companies to envision future scenarios, concepts, and prototypes in a time span of 5-10 years. So here, as you can see, we have developed the first part of the method, which consists of 3 phases: immersing, horizon scanning, and visioning, where the artists went through, in the first residency, they went through different activities in order to construct the future scenarios, which you can see here as the final output. And the gray sort of square is the second part of the method, which will be implemented during the second residency. So we are still, it's not publicly released yet because it still has to be tested, improved and refined. And by the end of the project, we will receive the full package of the DFA method. Next slide, please. And so just to give you an overview of the MUSAE residencies and sort of the flow of the project and its connection to the second open call that we will be launching soon. In the first, so we have 2 residencies. In the first Art Tech Experiment, the residency, we have been working with 12 artists who went through the first part of the method that I just presented. So through different activities, and the final output, as you can see, was the future scenarios. And the next slide. And so now in the second residency and the second open call, we will be looking for 11 teams, which are composed of artists and SME, and who will take the future scenarios as a starting point. And they will go together as a team through the second part of the DFA method, and they will develop based on the future scenario and identifying the opportunity in this scenario. They will develop first 11 concepts and then finally 11 prototypes. And by the end of the second residency, which will take 1 year, we will release so we will refine the method, we will refine the factory model, the final version, and then we will deliver this model, including all these different components, to the digital innovation hubs. And now, saying this brief overview of the second residency, I pass the floor to Ramona to present a bit more in details the residency.
Thank you, Tatiana. So good afternoon, everyone. I'm really thrilled to be here with all of you. So my name is Ramona and I'm a project manager at GLUON in Brussels. And at GLUON, our mission is to stimulate cross-sectoral collaboration between artists and non-artistic sectors within the larger framework of sustainability. And within MUSAE, we wear multiple hats, but we act as mentors to the residency program, but we also provide guidance and support to the project as a whole. So our expertise lies in cultivating collaborative practices that involve inspired critical thinking to think beyond the boundaries of what is possible today. So let's have a few words on the residency process and how we foresee that to be going. So this is about, after selecting the winning teams, then we will have approximately 11 months together when you are selected. And we have structured the residency into 2 main phases, each with their specific tasks and objectives. And in the consortium, we will have a mix of technology experts, art experts, and nutrition experts who will support you throughout the process with knowledge and expertise. Next slide. So the first phase of the residency is focused on concept generation and refining your idea into a proof of concept, while the second phase of the residency is dedicated to prototype building, going from a concept to a prototype to be tested in a real world environment. So looking at the first phase of the residency, to start, we will invite all of the selected teams for an in-person kickoff at one of the partner venues of the consortium. So you will be asked to travel during your residency, and the kickoff will be dedicated to introducing you to the DFA methods that we have been developing for the project. and which you will be asked also to implement and apply throughout the first and second phase of the residency. So the method is really designed to help you to develop the concept as an outcome of the first phase. This kickoff moment will also be a moment where you get to know your different mentors, where you will meet the other selected teams, and also probably we will dedicate some time really to how to plan the residency ahead. So following the kickoff, each team will start working with the DFA methods individually and will have regular meetings in person or online with your different mentors to check where you are going, not to check on you, but really to give our guidance to you. So you should really think of these moments more as whom we could reach out to and what could we do together. So during this phase, we also foresee technological trainings aimed at immersing you really in the potential of the different technologies, as well as the different ethical questions surrounding them and applying them. So the first phase is all about research, sharing knowledge, and aims to result in a refined concept and a more concrete proposal for a prototype in the form of a product or a service to be realized in the second phase. Next slide. So after concept, previous slide. So after concept building, we need to start working in a more hands-on approach, which is the prototyping phase. And this can be both, again, physical and digital. And this will be really an opportunity where you will intensify your collaboration with the different technical partners involved in the project to really scout which technologies to apply and test for your prototype. So this phase aims to result in a demonstration moment in a real environment. And what we really would like to get out of these 11 months together is a prototype TRL5, and that could be presented and that will be tested in a real environment. Next slide. So all of that, you will be facing an 11-month-long project or residency program led by you as a team and supported by a very diverse team of mentors consisting out of an art support program, a technological support program, and a nutrition support program. And for many of the companies, collaborations with artists and the cultural field might be an entirely new way of approaching the development of products and services and technologies. So it's really important that we guide these processes, and this will be the main role of the art mentors involved in the residency. So I hope this gives a very brief overview of how we plan to structure the residencies. Now for the expected outcome. Next slide. This is a prototype TRL5. So for you who are not familiar with the term TRL, it stands for Technology Readiness Level. And the Technology Readiness Level is a scale used to assess the maturity of a technology or innovation. It was originally developed by NASA in the 1970s to evaluate the readiness of technologies for space missions. And since then, it has become really widely adopted across various industries, including aerospace, defense, healthcare, and energy, as well as the European Commission. So the TRL is structured into 9 levels, each representing a very specific stage of technological development. And for this specific project, or the second phase of the residency, we will be moving from TRL3 to TRL5. This presents really a critical phase in the development of a prototype and a technology, marking a tipping point towards eventual deployment and commercialization. Next slide. So at TRL3, technology has typically undergone a proof of concept establishment, which means that initial experiments or theoretical studies have been conducted to demonstrate the feasibility of a technology in a controlled laboratory setting. However, at this stage, there might still be some considerable uncertainties regarding its practical applications and performance in real-world conditions. So advancing to TRL 5 really involves validating the technology in a relevant environment, which is a crucial step towards assessing its readiness for practical use. So what does this actually mean? For the second phase of the residency is you are really going to refine your prototypes. So you are going to look at optimizing design parameters, improving materials, or enhancing the functionality. You will test the prototype in relevant environments at the end users, most likely the SMEs, where you really see, is this prototype working in conditions where it should be deployed afterwards or where it is intended to be deployed. So this could include some field tests or maybe some really controlled experiments in settings that really mimic the real world or the intended application environments. You will, of course, also test the performance and the reliability of the prototype and how the technologies performs under various conditions and operational scenarios. And last but not least, there's also a part of identification by testing. It also gives important insights on possible areas for improvement, some limitations and challenges. So by using the TRL as a common framework, it is made for organizations to effectively communicate the status of their technologies and to make really decisions to advance innovation and bring technologies to the market. So in conclusion, it's really a standardized approach for evaluating the readiness of a prototype and enabling different stakeholders to assess progress, but also accelerate the transition of promising innovations from concept to reality. So to conclude this part, maybe just one example of what a prototype could be. Next slide. I give you an example of a sister project of MUSAE. It's another Horizon project called Better Factory, which is actually still ongoing. And this project brings together artists and companies from the manufacturing sector and technology provider. And they look together for automated solution, but also how artists can help in enlarging the product portfolio of manufacturing companies. So what you see here is an image or is the work Iowa, Internet of Wine and Arts. It's a collaboration between the artist Anna Dimitriou, Marco Felugua, a manufacturing company or a wine manufacturer, and Buba Mara as a technology provider. And they are developing together an IoT cork. So on the one hand, they are doing material research in different, like how the waste material of the wine production could help in producing recycled corks. And then you have the IoT or the digital cork that will actually provide a lot of insights into the whole production process of winemaking, but also provides data for the artist to create an e-label instead of a paper label. So that being said, I hope that gives a bit of an idea of what the residency will look like and what we are aiming for. And I give the floor to Tatiana again.
Thank you very much, Ramona. And now, since we ask you to apply for the second open call by choosing one of the scenarios and exploring the scenarios, we would like to give a bit more details, what we mean by the scenario, what is the value of the scenario, and why we decided to work with this kind of format, let's say. Next slide, please. So as I said before, the scenarios were constructed during the first residency by our artists that were participating in it. And so this is the first output. And the scenarios were developed by following the DFA method and all the activities that you might see on the screen. So meaning that there was the trend research done, the STEEP analysis, which meaning analyzing the broader context of different topics that the artists were working on. So they are based on the research of the current trends and developments in the areas of food as medicine. And it's very important to understand that these scenarios are not really something very speculative or very, very imaginative. They are evidence-based, and they are based on the things that are happening nowadays, on the directions that are changing and can be influenced in the future for the innovation. Next slide, please. So the scenario, just to give a small definition to be aligned in a way, scenario is a story or a narrative of possible futures created with sufficient details that explore various aspects of those futures. So saying that scenarios are not the predictions, but they are rather the tools for envisioning possible futures, because they can reveal the choices and opportunities available for innovation. And this is exactly what we are asking for, to explore the opportunities that these scenarios can bring, and later can be transformed to the concepts and the prototypes. Next slide, please. And this is just to show the connection that starting from the scenarios and exploring the opportunities, the idea, as I said, to develop the concept and prototypes, which will be based on the scenario and the context of it. The next slide, please. And so here we'll just briefly showcase the future scenarios, which are announced as second open call tracks. Next slide, please. So we will not go really into details of each scenario, because you will have them available on the website, and you can explore by reading through each of them, the one that will be the most interesting for you, that you would like to apply for. But here we just wanted to mention that the scenarios really cover different aspects and topics in the area of food as medicine, which is the overarching theme of MUSAE project. And so the scenarios, as you can see, based on the keywords, they cover different topics such as precision fermentation and consumer acceptance of radically novel food types, or we also have the scenarios based on the microbiome-based technologies, precision agriculture, renewable technologies, and eco-friendly packaging. Also, some scenarios are exploring the environmental conservation and ethical AI development in environmental monitoring. Also, we have the scenarios exploring the sensors for soil health, and also exploring the bond between human and soil. Next slide, please. As well as other scenarios explore the personalized approaches to nutrition and AI-driven recipe development, food system regulations for biodiversity, and also using gamification and education to innovate in the food industry. So as you can see, they're really, really diverse. And later we will provide the link on the STARTS website where you can explore them more in detail. Next slide, please. And here I will just explore the way the scenarios are constructed on the website. So we try to help you to explore them in more detail and also in more holistic way, let's say. So each scenario that you will find on the website consists of different elements, as you can see: the title, cover image, narrative, video, trends of the scenario, elements of the scenario, ambience, opportunities, and keywords. So here is just one of the examples, the scenario developed by one of the artists, Chloe Rutherford. And next slide, please. So here we try to put the keywords and the opportunities, meaning that by reading through the keywords, you can quickly identify if the scenario is of interest for you or not. So this is just if you want to sort of browse very quickly and just to see what can be interesting for you. And opportunities is more in detail and is more maybe focused also for the companies, what kind of technologies can be used in this scenario and what are the opportunities for innovation you can foresee in this scenario. Of course, this is a very general sort of piece of information, but still it helps you to navigate and to understand the scenario in more detail. Next slide, please. And then once by identifying that the scenarios, maybe not one, but maybe more that are interesting for you, you can also go in detail and explore the way that the artist presented the scenarios. So here you can see, of course, the scenario title and the cover image, also the scenario narrative, which was developed by an artist and then by whom it was developed, and of course, and also the video. Which is around 10 minutes, where the artist goes more in detail and explaining in their own words. And then if you click down the link, explores the scenario in more detail. Next slide. You have even more information that helps you to understand and maybe to envision some of the opportunities. So here, each scenario also has the trends that were researched during the construction of the scenario. So there is something happening nowadays that is driving towards this possible future. So you can also have a look at that. And also there are the elements of the scenario, and the elements are what the artists have envisioned that might exist in this possible future. So these are just the elements that can help you to imagine the scenario, to dive into the scenario and to understand if it's interesting for you or not, or what kind of opportunities for innovating you can see there. Next slide, please. And I think that's it. So I pass the floor to Maria for more detail.
Thank you, Tatiana and Ramona, for introducing and illustrating the deep content of the second open call. My name is Maria Rossetti. I work for Made Competence Center, which is a digital innovation hub participating in MUSAE project, and we are also responsible for the implementation of the administrative part of the open call, on which we will give now some anticipation. Basically, we will explain you now what will be the main call criteria. So first of all, the first eligible criteria is that SMEs and artists must participate by joining by doing a consortium, namely that eligible participants again must be formed by n SMEs as well as one artist. Where for SMEs we refer to the European law definition of small medium enterprises, namely SMEs, that is, SMEs are companies which employ fewer than 2,050 persons, as well as having a turnover less than 50 million, or a balance sheet not exceeding 43 million. And of course, you will find more details even in the law, as well as in the guide of applicants, which will be issued by the end of February. Whereas artists are named as any natural person or SMEs acting under NACE code 9009003, as well as a self-employed individual, including freelancer, undertaking artistic activities as a main job profession and occupation, including, this is not a comprehensive list, creative technologies, speculative designers, media artists, creative coders, artistic front and back, hackers, and digital artists. From a geographical point of view, either SMEs and artists must be legally established in one of the countries eligible for Horizon Europe, including also associated countries, and the maximum contribution allowed is 80,000 euros per consortium, of which maximum 24,000 should be allocated to artists and 56,000 allocated to SMEs. As far as concerned the eligibility content, of course, the topic must cover either the future scenarios as well as the technologies that were mentioned before. A proposal must be submitted in English, and it is very important that artists, SMEs, and different type of partner can be funded once by year in START projects. This means that if in 2024 you have already been awarded the STARTs grants, you will not be eligible for that. The confidentiality and IP rule will follow the usual rules as foreseen for the background and foreground of the European Commission, which are publicly available in the participant portal and the model of the grant agreement. However, the final outcomes, in this case, the final outcomes of this open call should be made available for free at European Commission, basically for dissemination and public viewing exhibition. Tentatively, the call will open at the end of February and close at the end of April. And we are also, and this is again a preliminary deadline, namely that ideally you will be able to submit your proposal by April. Maximum the evaluation stage will run for 2 months, and as usual, the evaluation stage, which details will be available in the guide of applicants, are based on the European criteria of scientific and artistic excellence, as well as the impact which is done on the market and the implementation part, namely how we are going and if you are going to implement your projects in terms of resources allocated, type of risk, and timeline, in order to start the implementation ideally between June and August. Of course, there will be also a very short phase of grant management, because all the awarded participants will have to sign a contract with the awarding authorities. Mostly important, by the middle of March, we are also planning an online matchmaking initiatives where artists and small medium enterprises will be able to match possible ideas or proposals, to exchange again requirements on ideas in order to develop further scenario. For that, we will use the B2Match platform, which we are setting up currently, and of course, all information regarding the B2Match tool, that is this matchmaking online events, as well as FAQ regarding the open call, the publish of the guide of applicants, will be issued directly on the MUSAE, on the official page of the projects, which you see here, on which you can stay up to date also on future deadlines and especially future webinars. I would like to remind that all the participants that agreed and are participating now in this webinar will also automatically receive news regarding, again, the published announcement of the guide of applicants, as well as the announcement of the dates of the online matchmaking, and will be informed on further activities and details. Now I would start the Q&A session. As we wish to report relevant question in the first FAQ documents of the open call, I kindly ask you to type inside the chat any possible question that might arise. And then we will answer now and, of course, report the answer inside the first FAQ documents. So, any curiosity regarding contents of the scenarios, the residencies, or other topic? If you prefer, you can also raise your hands. Okay, who is doing the evaluation? Okay, now questions are coming. The evaluation will be done as for the first open call by an external external and internal people. Specifically, there will be an open call which will be published in few weeks. And I pass the word to Petja for further details regarding this.
Yeah, so usually what we do is we make an open call, and then experts are presenting, and we ask for experts that have experience already both in the field and as well as in evaluation of projects. And this finally the remote evaluation, and the first stages are done by external and internal evaluators, and the final decision is taken by internal commission composed by members from the consortium.
Okay. Thank you very much, Petja. Second question is, will the SME apply to the part of the project themselves, or do you reach out to find them? Can artists apply with an SMEs they find and reach out to themselves? If I understood correctly the question, Philips, each artist and SMEs are free to base a consortia, basing on, again, the eligibility of the open call, and especially if they comply and have a successful proposal, basing on the future scenario. We will provide this opportunity for an online matchmaking, which is, however, not a pre-requirement to participate in the call. Namely that SMEs and artists which participates in the online matchmaking will not have any, let's say, specific goods awards or will be evaluated as much as consortia formed outside the online matchmaking tool. Eleonora Ortonani, can SMEs and artists apply if based in the UK? I would say that for now the answer is yes, because UK has formalized the association to Horizon Europe. However, we will provide more details, and especially the legal justification documents in the FAQ. Can the artist be partnership rather than a freelancer? The member of the consortia should be two separate legal entities. Can SME be also a single person companies? As well as far as, sorry, it is recognized under the international as well as national law, I would say yes. But again, we will provide a detailed answer also in the FAQ, providing the right justification documents. Sandeepan, can I reach out to an SME of my own choice and not through the matchmaking? Yes. Thanks for clarity. Yes, sorry if it was not clear before, but yes. I repeat, in case it was not clear before, the matchmaking online events which we are organizing is just an opportunity that is given by the consortia in order to match ideas and facilitate, again, the generation of new proposal, but it's not an eligibility criteria nor a mandatory criteria in order to be eligible for the call. So each type of consortia, also SMEs and artists which meets outside the matchmaking, are free and equal to participate in it. How much time do you predict that an artist should dedicate to this project on a weekly basis? I would pass this word to Tatiana and Ramona.
We will dedicate the second webinar specifically to the, let's say, to the program of the residency in detail. But what we can say is that it's not developed, is not based on the amount of time you have to dedicate. It will be based on the outputs you have to deliver together as a team. And of course, the prototyping phase, which is the second part of the residency, will be time consuming. And as I said in the second webinar, we will exactly go in detail about the prototyping phase, what it will involve and for how long and etc. So that's why it's extended as a residency in terms of the month.
Thank you very much, Tatiana. I go forward with the question. Can an artist that was part of the first call be part of the second open call as a company and collaborate with another artist? Okay, so artists which were part of the first call can participate. The first eligibility requirements is that, of course, as a general rule in new projects, when participating for a proposal, you should not breach the rule of double funding. And in case you have been awarded a project in 2024 in a STARTS initiative, you are not artists or also SMAs are not eligible. Regarding the possibility of an artist, always, if I understood correctly the question, to collaborate with another artist, the answer is no, because the call will finance consortia which are formed by artists and SMAs companies. But again, you will find more details regarding this in the guide of applicants. Eleonora Ortonani does, and I thank you also for the question because it will allow us to better detail and clarify some aspects. Does the SMAs needs to be specifically in the agri-food sector? No. I mean, from an administrative perspective, I can say that as far as concerned SMAs, we are not bringing any specific constraints regarding the NACE code, as long as they can, again, develop a good proposal based on the future scenarios. Regarding the impact of this question on the content of the projects and possible proposal, maybe I leave the words to Tatiana and Ramona.
Sorry, I missed the question.
No, the question is if an SMA needs to be specifically in the agri-food question, in the agri-food sector. I was saying that as far as concerned the administrative classification of SMAs, which is the NACE code, we are not putting any constraints. If there is any impact on the development of the content of the project, I will leave the word to you. I assume that the answer is no, but
Exactly. No, it's we don't specify the type of the company since we want to open the possibilities for as wide as possible. However, you have to respond to the scenario, which is very important because still the overarching topic of the project is food and well-being and food industry. Also in the same lines is that we will ask you to prove the feasibility in terms of the technological expertise, let's say, that you will be able as a consortia implement the prototypes. So this is very important for us and not the type of the. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Tanya. Another question regarding the DFA methods. So the DFA project you introduced is something that was used in the previous residencies for identifying the scenario, or is it something that we expect to adopt in these second residencies? Tatiana, I think you can take this one. Tatiana and Ramona, please.
Okay. Yes, the scenarios were created based on the DFA process. So as I said, it was already implemented during the first residency, and it will be again implemented. But of course, there would be a different focus now, developing the concepts and prototypes based on the scenario. So the DFA process, the second part of the DFA process, because as I said, the goal of our project is to create the model, and part of this model is the method that can, when the project finishes, it can live on its own, and the digital innovation hubs can implement the method independently by themselves. So yes, it was used in the first residency, and it will be used in the second one.
New artists and the SMAs have to meet from outside the program. I'm not sure I got the question, but basically any artists and SMEs which comply with the eligible requirements, which we anticipated now, and that will be further detailed in the guide of applicants, are free to create consortium. Second, another question, will you select one proposal per scenario, or is it possible that you select more than one proposal for a given scenario? Tanya, this is for you. Tanya and Petya, if you wish to answer this.
We will try to balance, of course, all of the scenarios, because this is the idea and the purpose of the second open call, to provide as many more innovative prototypes, covering all of the scenarios. So this will be the priority number one. And depending during the evaluation period, we will leverage that, making sure that for each scenario there is one proposal.
Okay, thank you very much. Another question, since the prototype has to be quite developed, is technology support provided by the mentor solely? I apply with an SMEs that is not a tech company. Will we be able to properly support on the technology side, or we need to find additional support throughout the budget provided? Maybe I can take this one regarding maybe I can answer regarding the budgeting activities, and I will leave the mentoring answer to Ramona and Tanya. For sure, with the budget provided, you will be able to reach out any technology support you might need. You will have to briefly describe it inside the proposal template, but basically yes, you can do it with the budget provided, because the budget will follow basically the European rules and the type of cost, which allow also to buy services and which allow also to buy external services. Regarding the residencies and the type of mentoring, I will leave the word again to Tanya and Ramona.
You can take this, Tanya.
Maybe Petya, because I saw that Petya turned on the camera, since she's one of the tech experts. So
yeah. To answer to the Leonora's question, well, the budget for the company is basically so that the company should have the proper background and experience and curriculum in order to be able to finish the prototype. So tech partners can give you very general feedback, but of course, tech partners, we are not. We don't have any resources in order to go further and to help. The idea is that the SMEs should be able, and they have the budget in order to do the final prototype. Okay. And as Maria said, if the consortium and the SME decide to subcontract some other companies or some technical partners in order to help them, I understand this is possible. Yeah.
Okay, good. Can SMEs and an artist be from two different countries, meaning one from the EU and one from outside EU? As long as the EU countries are eligible inside, again, the Horizon Europe program, and you will find, you can find already the updated list. I will put it in the chat in a few seconds of eligible Horizon Europe countries inside the participant portal and the official European channels. Yes. Within the 24,000 RT budget and 56,000 SME budget, who is responsible for material prototype cost? I would build on the answer that was provided by Petya. I would say that it is up to you. I mean, we do not. This will be part of your proposals, basically, and one of the implementation elements on which the committee will evaluate it.
Yeah. Well, that's why it's the budget, right? So you have as a consortium 80,000 that you should have a planning how to cover all your expenses in order to come up with a final prototype. It includes all the material, all the expenses for moving, for attending the meetings, and attending all the events that are planned by the project. That there is no any other budget that should support besides this 80,000. Now, that's why we are expecting that you submit your proposal as a consortium between artists and SME, so that you should have your own distribution, how and who what should cover. Okay, because of course different scenarios, maybe they need different distribution. Okay, but there is no any other budget to cover any other expenses.
Is it expected that all 11 prototypes are fully functional? I would say that being compliant with the TRL 5, it should be functional in a pre-industrial way, but I think that this is really strictly related to also the type of technologies and the type of prototypes that you are going to develop. I don't know if Petya, being the technical responsible partner, would like to build on this or provide some example of TRL 5, because the analysis of the TRL is really strictly connected to the type of technologies used.
So as Ramona already mentioned, so it is expected that we have TRL 5. So TRL 5 is that the prototype is validated in a relevant environment. Okay.
Thank you. There will be 11 artists plus SMAs working together, so it's one per team. It is one artist and one SMAs per team. So I don't know if I have answered.
That is each scenario. For each scenario, we expect a proposal done by a consortium of SME and artists.
One SMAs and one artist, okay? Namely, to be eligible, each proposal must clearly indicate inside the template the data of the artist and the data of the SMAs.
And maybe I can just add to the question that was done before about if artists and SME should be from different countries, I mean, can be from different countries or not. It's also, we have to mention that in this open call, at least one team will be selected from one of the widening regions countries, which you can also will find in the guide of applicants, which countries are eligible for this region. But we will specifically select one team, both artist and SME from this region.
Okay, great. Other question? Does the proposals need to use the DFA's nomenclatura and philosophy, or can the proposal independently design a project? Tanya, this one's for you.
If I understand it correctly, if you mean that if the team will have to follow strictly the method in order to develop the concept and prototypes, or if they can diverge and, for instance, develop them freely without the method. The answer is that the team will have to go through certain steps of the method, because this is one of the goals of the project, is to test the method and to refine it based on the feedback, and then to deliver the final version. And this is exactly what we have done in the first residency. We have received a lot of feedback from the artists and the mentors, and now we are in the process of refining and modifying it. However, the method, also based on the first residency, we will structure it, but we will also allow the moments of freedom, let's say, that you can enrich the method with the artistic expression, but also from the company's perspective. So if it's clear or not, you can also ask a follow-up question.
Yes, the residencies is in 11 months. The exhibition is expected in 2025. As said, we will confirm the exact months in the guide of applicants, which will be published by the end of February, also accordingly to the launch of the open call. But approximately the exhibition will be launched in middle 2025, between April and May. Regarding the time frame for the matchmaking activities, the first half of March. Again, you will first half of March, more or less, you will receive a confirmation by next 10 days. Will the selection process focus on the quality of application or equalizing countries where the applicants contribute? You will find, I can say that you will find more formal information on the in the guide of applicants, but Petya, if you want to comment this.
Yeah. Well, for us, it is important to come up with good final prototypes. So if we have two good proposals from the same country and another proposal that is less good on another country, we don't have any problem to choose to select the from the same country. So for us, it is very important to come up with 11 good prototypes that are implementing the 11 scenarios. And country in this case is not something that that is coinciding countries is not something that for us is so critical.
Okay. Good. So we are pretty close to 2 o'clock, which is the end of this, which is the expected end of these activities. If there are no further critical or urgent questions, I would close the webinar now. Thank you very much for your participation, especially proactive participation. And we will keep you informed on next webinar and as well as the matchmaking, which will both occur in the first half of March, and you will receive information in due time. Okay. Of course, don't forget to stay in touch and follow all the official communication on the official MUSAE website inside the S+T+ARTs platform. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, 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 everyone.